This is our speaking test taking place on 12th November at BBC English Language and IELTS Centre, Butwal Milanchok. Good afternoon. My name is D.B. Raimaji. What's your name?
My name is Chetri.
Where do you come from?
I come from Sanamana 6, and
How long have you lived in Sainamana?
actually my birthplace is Sanamana 6, and I did my schooling or high school from there. After that, I moved to Kathmandu.
Okay.
Now again, after doing graduation, and I'm back here, and now I'm here for I think since 3 years.
What do you do? Are you a student or you were?
Well, I do work, and I'm dentist by profession. And
All right.
now I'm working in Butwal,
Butwal.
which is a private clinic, and it is 20 dental clinic, and I'm working there as a dental practitioner.
Okay. Now I'm going to ask you some more questions. Is that okay? Do you read newspapers and magazines?
Well, yeah, I do read a newspaper and magazine. I love to know about what's going on in the world. So, yes, I read once a day, not regular, not all the time, just once a day.
Okay, what kind of articles do you like to read?
Well, normally I'm much more interested on travel and living, so I normally read the article related to the travel and lifestyle. But apart of that, I read newspaper related latest news that is related to current issues, politics, and other social issues.
Do you like to read the newspapers and magazines in your mother tongue, or you like to read the newspapers or magazines in a foreign language, and why?
Well, to be honest, I love to read a newspaper or magazine in foreign language because while reading in foreign language, it helps to improve my English, and apart of that, and my base is English, so I feel a little bit difficult to read in Nepali, so I prefer to read in English.
Have you read anything recently? Have you read any newspaper or any magazine recently?
Yes, nowadays I don't read newspaper. I read it online, but
Okay.
I read it in BBC. I
Right.
recently read a documentary related to the travel. Again, it is about travel. It is a documentary related to the travel, and it is from a boy from America, and he's living in Everest Base Camp and doing as a job of poetry, being American, and he's doing a job of poetry, and he's still living with the Nepalese people, and he's just learning how they are surviving there. And that's quite impressed me.
Okay, do you think reading a newspaper or a magazine is a good way to improve our language? Like either it might be it may be the language of mother tongue, or it might be the case of foreign language. You think it's a way of learning the language?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I think it's a good way to learn language because while learning the different articles and reading the different articles, it improves our English because we get opportunity to learn the different patterns of sentence structure. So ultimately, it helps our to learn the new language.
So how often do you like to read the newspapers and magazines?
Well, I already told you I normally read it once a day. So whenever I get time, then I read it.
It means you read newspapers and magazines anytime you like. Might be in the morning or.
I read 1 articles a day, but it is not necessary. It might be in morning. It might be at night. It might be at daytime. Whenever I get time.
So do you think reading newspapers and magazines can broaden our minds
Well,
to some extent?
Well, Definitely, I think reading newspapers or magazines has to broaden up our knowledge of horizon, because we get opportunity to know the different things from there. A part of daily life, we get the opportunity to know about the research and other article related to the economics and all that. So definitely.
Okay, thank you. Well, now in this part of the test, I'm going to give you a cue card. Okay, a topic. I would like you to prepare a speech on this topic. You have 2 minutes. You have to prepare a speech on this topic and speak. Okay, is that okay? Here is your cue card, and I will give you a piece of paper. You can write it down if you want. Please. Your time starts. Okay, now you can start your topic, speech.
Well, today I'm going to describe a restaurant which I like to go regularly, and it is a Benjamin, and it is basically Italian restaurant, and it is lies in Pokhara. And one of my closest friends suggested me to go there, and I chose this restaurant because as I'm fond of Italian food, and as I went to that restaurant, I didn't know about the architecture and the interior, but when I went there, I was so impressed from the architecture and design of that restaurant, because it is Greece inspired. Everything is white and blue, and white and blue is my favorite color. So I'm quite inspired from, I'm impressed from that. And apart of that, their hospitality is quite impressive. And the most I normally eat, as I told you, that is Italian. Although they serve other cuisines, but my favorite is Italian, so I eat Italian food, and I order a pasta that is olio pasta, and which is quite delicious and mouth-watering. And still I remember that taste. And apart of that, as it is lies in lakeside, so we can see the mesmerizing view of Ewa Lake. Apart of that, when we go evening, then even we can see the white stupa, clear view of white stupa and hills and green hills. It gives me a different type of vibes there. So I feel calm, positive in that restaurant, and there is we can't hear different sound. I mean, we can't. It is quite peace, and there is no traffic noise. So I like that restaurant.
Okay, thank you. Now in this part of the test, I'm going to ask you some more questions, and I would like to ask you some questions which are abstract. Okay, why do you think people go to restaurants when they want to celebrate something?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, it depends upon person to person perception, but according to me, I think people go to restaurant to celebrate some certain occasion, and apart of that, while going to the different places, we'll have the different experience.
Okay. Do you go to restaurants?
Regularly, but whenever there is any occasion.
Do you go to restaurant whenever you want, or you go to restaurants only on the special occasions, like might be the celebration of birthday or might be the celebration of something special?
Well, it will, yes. I normally go to restaurant to celebrate some occasion, but apart of that, whenever I like to eat some food, outside food, then I go to the restaurant.
Okay. What kind of foods are more popular in the restaurants in your country? Like, are they fast foods or the traditional cuisines? Which foods are more popular in your restaurants?
In my place.
In the restaurants in your place.
Okay. Well, in my place, I think the fast food are quite popular because in compared to traditional food. Nowadays people are more fond of fast food, for example pizza, burger and all that, because they are good for, although they are not good for health, but they taste good, so people are more attracted to those food in compared to traditional cuisine.
Okay, that's nice. Some people say that the restaurants which have expensive foods are better. Some people believe that some restaurants which are more expensive, they have better foods. Do you think it is true?
Well, it's a little bit tricky. Well, to be honest, I don't think that to be a good food, the restaurant must be expensive. It depends, quality of food and taste of food depends upon how they cook the food and what the ingredients that they are keeping. It doesn't matter that either it is cooked in 5-star restaurant or it is cooked on the street. But if they are cooking it with love and with joy, then ultimately we love that food.
Okay. So are you choosy in case of in matters of foods?
Well, to be honest, I'm a little bit choosy because I'm a vegetarian and I don't eat meat.
Oh, you are a vegetarian.
And even I'm a little bit health conscious, so I don't prefer junk food, and I normally prefer salad and those food are good for my health.
What do you say about the recent trend of going to restaurants, for having different kinds of cuisines? Do you think this trend, like most of the people like to have the foods which are prepared in the restaurants rather than the foods which are prepared at home, you think this is a good trend or it's a bad trend?
Well, it depends upon person to person perception, but as far as I'm concerned, as I already told you, I'm a little bit health conscious, and I don't prefer going outside and have those food regularly. But it's good to have to change the taste of mouth. But regularly having such a outside food which is full of preservative and all those little bit harmful ingredients is not for good. Even if such trends it will go regularly, and ultimately people will face the lifestyle related disease. For example, diabetes, cardiovascular disease. Even now it is according to the research according to the new research. Many people nowadays, are suffering from lifestyle related disease, diabetes and cardiovascular disease. All this is because of their lifestyle, because trend has been changed. Before people used to eat food at their home, cooked by themselves, but now they prefer to eat food out, which is full of preservative and oily.
Okay, that's nice. But we must say that today's generations are quite lucky in the sense that they have greater choice of foods. And they have greater choices of fruits at restaurants, at homes, everywhere where they like to have something. So you think that there will be even greater choices of the foods in the future in the restaurants?
Well, the trend of culinary has been changed from past year. Even I remember when I was a child, when my mom used to take us to restaurant, we didn't have used to a variety of choice. We just have momos and all that. But now, now when I go to the restaurant, we have varieties of choice for the food, different cuisine, and I think today's generation are quite lucky, but I don't think that this has been changed, but it has both goods and bad points.
Do you think that there's been a considerable impact of modern technology on the way that the food is produced nowadays?
Well, in my opinion, yes, it has quite impact. On the one hand, technology is making our work easy and effective. For example, we can take the example of mixer grater. It is making our work easy, but
do you use any kind of technology in preparing some kind of dishes or special food items at your home?
Yes, I normally use micro oven. I know it is bad for health, but sometimes I have to, whenever I like to make pizza by myself, I use micro oven. Yes, I'm using the technology, but it has both pros and cons.
You mean to say that there's been the impact or there's been effect?
It makes our life easy. We prepare the food and we keep it in the oven. It will cook. We don't have to go and watch it. But it is plus point we're saving our time. But its radiation is a little bit affecting our health.
Okay, that's nice. So now I want to ask you one more question. Okay, I want to ask you one open question. Is that okay? How important do you think it is for a nation to produce as much food as it is necessary for it?
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
How important is it for a nation to produce its foods for its citizens rather than or without importing from any other countries?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I think it's quite necessary, because if our country, our own nation produces the food for ourselves, then ultimately the economic of country will be increased. Even they can export to other countries. Right now, due to globalization, we are using the more product from foreign countries. Even though Nepal can produce a lots and lots of crops and grains, but we are not doing that. We are importing from other countries. So in terms of economic, our country is not increasing. While importing, our country is not increasing the economic, but it is the outer country has getting the benefit. So if our country produces their own product for their own citizens, then definitely the economic will be good.
Finally, how important is it for people to be about the consumption of foods? Be aware of foods.
Oh, well, in my opinion, it is quite essential things to be aware of the food what they are eating. But because normally nowadays people are using the food which are packed. Normally they buy from groceries and department store. Even they don't see what it contains in it, whether it has some carcinogenic ingredients or not. But I think it is quite essential to see what ingredients they contain in it for their health benefits.
Okay, thank you very much. I wish you all the best. This is the end of your speaking test. Thank you very much. Thank you.